Кому было выгодно? Америке и Англии. Вот они и взорвали. До свидания.
I think the Russians blew it up.
I highly doubt the Americans would do it, and I highly doubt the Europeans would do it.
Oh, that's hard to tell, but I think Putin did.
I'm Jeremy Lafreda for Elmo News in Moscow, Russia. One of the most important things that happened during this geopolitical conflict is the sabotage of the Nord Stream. At first it was just speculation that it was sabotaged. Now it's regarded as fact. What do the people here in Russia think? Who do they think did it? Are they willing to talk about it? About 2 months ago, there was an explosion in the Baltic Sea. The Nord Stream pipeline blew up. The Nord Stream pipeline brought natural gas from Russia across the Baltic Sea to Germany, and then more broadly to the rest of Europe. Germany relies on this gas to fuel its many industrial sectors. A German official told Bloomberg News that entire German industries, like the aluminum industry, the glass industry, and the chemical industry, are in danger of collapsing because of the Nord Stream destruction. According to scientists who spoke to NPR, the quote-unquote leak is one of the worst environmental disasters ever. 500,000 metric tons of methane were thrown out of the pipeline, through the ocean, and into the atmosphere. But who did it? Who is responsible? Well, shortly before the war began, US President Joe Biden explained that if Russia were to invade Ukraine, which they did, he would bring an end to the Nord Stream 2 pipeline.
If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
When pressed by a journalist on how he would do such a thing, considering the project was between two sovereign countries, Germany and Russia, he explained that he would find a way. He promised.
How will you do that exactly, since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control?
We will, I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
And Victoria Nuland, an official at the US State Department, said or threatened the exact same thing.
If Russia invades Ukraine, one way or another, Nord Stream 2 will not move forward.
Eliminating the Nord Stream pipeline seemed like the unanimous course of action for both Democrats and Republicans in Washington. Ron Johnson explained that he wanted to take out the pipeline. You can loosely define that, he said.
I'm literally talking about rolling back the pipeline. And you can loosely define that, but I mean taking action that will prevent it from ever becoming operational.
But why? Well, eliminating the pipeline, or rendering it, quote, non-operational, would take a very serious toll on the Russian economy and affect their ability to finance war efforts. It would also stop Europe's dependence on Russian natural gas, opening up the market for the United States. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken explained bluntly after the pipeline blew up that the explosion and destruction of the pipeline created a, quote, tremendous opportunity for the United States.
Ultimately, this is also a tremendous opportunity. It's a tremendous opportunity to, once and for all, remove the dependence on Russian energy.
When the pipeline blew up, President Biden and his colleagues' past remarks were plastered all over social media. Also on social media was a tweet from Radek Sikorski, the former Prime Minister of Poland, a NATO member. He tweeted, "Thank you, USA." He's since deleted the tweet. In 2012, Foreign Policy magazine gave Mr. Sikorski a Global Thinkers Award for, quote, telling the truth even when it's not diplomatic. But Biden said theories accusing the US or NATO states of committing this act of piracy on international waters was the result of Russian disinformation.
About the pipeline, and let me say this. It was a deliberate act of sabotage, and now the Russians are pumping out disinformation and lies.
So what do the people in Russia believe? Do they have strong thoughts on it? Do they blame the West? Well, I asked them.
Далека от политики. Не знаю, даже я не думала над этим. Да, знаю. Знаю, что он взорван, но кто его взорвал? Наверное, те, с кем мы воюем. Видимо, так.
Северный поток. Блин, честно, я просто настолько не погружен. Но точно не Россия, я так скажу. Это не мы. Нет здесь никакой подоплеки, и не надо в эту сторону смотреть.
Ну, думать можно чего угодно, но естественно, это только предположение, что, скорее всего, великобританские спецслужбы и, ну и все. Самое главное подозрение. Всё.
Кому было выгодно? Америке и Англии. Вот они и взорвали. До свидания.
Я просто за новостями не слежу.
Да, мы стараемся не слушать вот это негативные вот эти, чтобы позитив внутри был.
Честно говоря, меня в меньшей степени интересует вопрос того, что случилось с Северным потоком, потому что мне кажется, что есть более острые вопросы, которые нуждаются в ответах. Ну и вообще, я согласна.
Без понятия. Ну, был взрыв, соответственно, и сейчас думают, кто взорвал. Русские, европейцы, американцы и так далее. Вопрос крайне дискуссионный, но я думаю, что у нас сейчас мало информации, чтобы делать какие-то конкретные выводы.
Я предпочитаю не комментировать ситуацию.
When this act of sabotage first happened, I was in New York City. I took to the streets and I asked people about Nord Stream. Many Americans believe Vladimir Putin did it.
Well, I guess the logical thing would be to assume that it's Russia. I mean, we don't have conclusive proof, I guess, but it would be in their interest to kind of blackmail Europe by cutting off their gas supply.
Couldn't they just turn it off because it's their pipeline?
I suppose they could. I guess they could, yeah.
I think the Russians blew it up.
I think that Russia has more to lose in the long run, so probably Russia. I highly doubt the Americans would do it, and I highly doubt the Europeans would do it.
Oh, that's hard to tell, but I think Putin did.
For Rebel News in Moscow, Russia, I'm Jeremy Lafreda.
This week I'm going to try to get you the truth on the biggest geopolitical issue of our time. I'm going to speak to Russians, Ukrainians, professors, soldiers. Now, doing this work isn't cheap. Between translators, transportation, visas, all of these finances have acted like a financial censorship mechanism that stopped the independent media from coming here and doing critical reporting. You can help support my work and also keep up to date with all my reports at RussianReports.com.